Well, Snow, can you believe we're doing this for 5 years now?
Happy 5 years.
5 years. How the fuck have we kept this up?
I don't know. Lots of alcohol?
Lots of alcohol. And, we're going to start off. We got a message from somebody who's...
A fan?
No, he's not a fan.
Oh.
But...
Our biggest hater?
Unfortunately, he's been a huge topic over the last 5 years.
Oh.
As much as we don't want him to be a topic anymore.
Right, we want him to go away.
Yeah. Yes. So, Mr. President, welcome.
Well, we're here. I know you guys are wherever the hell you are in Kingman, Arizona, though I don't see any kings there. It's a very sad studio that you have, frankly. But, we won such a big landslide victory in 2024, a historic victory. But I have sort of nothing to do except talk to the haters and losers who didn't vote for me. So this is almost like, I won so many votes, I might as well try to talk to the people who are either too low IQ or too unpatriotic to vote for me. And you guys were at the top of the list, very top of the list.
Yeah, we've missed the opportunity. But hey, 80% of the population around here did vote for you, so you can have that.
You've got that.
Well, they're great patriots there in Kingman, Arizona. They're high-level IQ individuals. They are patriots. They love their country. We love Kingman is a tremendous part of the state of Arizona. It's probably my favorite part of the state of Arizona, other than all the other parts with the hot chicks and the colleges.
Oh, shit. So why are you contacting us this weekend? Don't you have bigger things going on with, like, Iran and shit?
We do, but it was bothering the crap out of me right now. He has that deep voice. He's always got, Donald. And I go, what, BB? And he goes, you have to give us the bunker buster, Donald. And I go, I don't have to do anything for you. I don't like the way you're talking to me. So I'm basically avoiding his calls right now, and I got bored, and I said, let's talk to Kingman, Arizona. Let's talk to whatever the hell you are, Reality Redemption, or whatever the hell.
Yes,
you look like a pair of Bruce Springsteen fans, which is not too smart. I can always tell a Bruce Springsteen fan by the T-shirts that you wear. So it says Springsteen, and I use my very strong intellect and high IQ to figure out that you are Bruce Springsteen fans.
Well, yeah. You must not have liked what he said over in Europe a few weeks ago.
Oh, yeah.
Well, he's jealous because he's been known as the boss, and obviously the real boss was, of course, Tony Danza. And for Bruce Springsteen to try to be called the boss when we have Tony Danza, a great Italian-American patriot, is bad enough. But then to go to a foreign country and insult your great president is unforgivable.
All right, well, people are telling us you have to go. But we'll leave it on this. How do you feel about the breakup with Elon?
Well, he's very weird. I think he's got talent. I think he's got smarts. Not as smart as me, but he's up there. He's pretty close. And but he's weird. He's sort of, what you get with me is when you combine smarts with talent and charisma and good looks, you get a great president. When you get smarts with weird looks, no charisma, and video game talent only, you get somebody like Ethan Musk, who is not good. So he's going through some things. I think he's addicted to drugs, and he's trying to do IVF with a 400th woman or something. I don't know. He's like one of those OnlyFans models, but instead of sex, it's just OnlyFans. It's only IVF. Like, watch my OnlyFans, Elon Musk, and I'm going to do IVF with 2,000 women. And, it's not as exciting as you think. It's really just scientific and gross. So we're doing well, though. Elon's still a friend. He's just getting some help, hopefully. Ketamine or whatever the hell he does.
Well, thank you for taking time off the golf course to be with us.
And we're going to see if we can, I'm still deciding whether we bomb Iran or assault protesters or steal food from poor people. So it's like a multiple choice. I don't know which one I'm going to choose, but it's going to be exciting.
There isn't like D, all of the above, right? You're not going to do that.
We're looking into because I like D. It's my favorite cup. So we're looking into possibly doing all of the above.
Oh,
Okay.
scary.
Well, thank you, sir, for joining us. But we have to move on to our next guest.
Well, he's not going to be as talented as me. Good luck.
All right. Well, I beg to differ. Thank you, sir. All right. Joining us for the 5th anniversary, our friend J.L. Cauvin.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Hi, good to be here. Hello, guys.
Okay. Yeah. And we'll give you a few plugs. Check out your Patreon. Dictatorforadayshow.com to see your special that you filmed last year. And
it was actually an off-Broadway musical, and it was a lot of fun and a lot of work, and it's people can get it at dictatorforadayshow.com. So it's probably my best. I know a lot of people like my Trump stuff, and I would say with no, I probably won't see another dime from that show, so there's no incentive for me to say this unless it's true. It's my best Trump work. It's like, if you've liked my Trump stuff, it's my best work as Trump. So it's a very funny show, and it was filmed a month before the election, and like 2/3 of the things predicted in the show, I kid you not, have come to pass. It's sort of absurd. Like, even obscure lines in some of the songs have like come to pass.
Yeah.
So
no, I watched it last week.
Oh, nice.
Where do you watch it at?
Dictatorforadayshow.com.
It's just available on the website. It's been picked up by some streaming places that will rent it, but they're not it's kind of just been buried. Like Amazon approved it to stream from there, but it's like nowhere to be found and not like greenlit, I guess, like to show up on the platform. So right now the producers who made it are just offering it dictatorforadayshow.com, and it's just you rent it there, and that's the only way to watch it right now, I guess, in case those other platforms come through eventually. But it seems like they're at best dragging their feet.
Oh, I know what I'm going to watch later.
All right. And you just relaunched your podcast, Rain on Your Parade.
Yes, a lot of people, and by a lot of people I mean like 20, were really asking for it back. So it's me just telling some jokes, reviewing some comedy, and usually talking about some political or social issue, like as the centerpiece of each episode. So yeah, I enjoy doing the podcast. It's some work, and it's a lot of thought, but it's good. I'm not really selling my work right now. I'm like tired, but it's. I'm getting old is the problem. I get like these. I always wondered why my dad always needed like a nap in the middle of the day. He was an older dad. Like, he was 48 when I was born, and he was always taking naps in the middle of the day. I was like, what the hell? And now I'm like 46. I'm like, I need a nap every day at like 3 or 4 in the afternoon. So I want to sound more enthusiastic with my podcast. It is great. It's informative. It's interesting, and it's funny. So, and it's free. That's, I think, the most important thing of all.
And last time we talked, you were coming to Vegas for the Stand-Up Pod Jam 2 that we were, you invited us to. We had a great time. I think that was the best time that we've had since the election.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
And
being around
great,
cool people.
like-minded people. But you have to tell us that you're a Kingman experience, because you did come through on the Amtrak.
I did come through Kingman. It wasn't the best showing, I think, for Kingman, because I arrived at, I took the train from Chicago to Kingman, Arizona, so it arrives about 30 hours after I leave Chicago. It arrives at 11, I want to say it was late, So no, it arrived at it was late. So it arrived at 12:30 a.m. at the Kingman, Arizona train station, and there's a shuttle. That's the closest stop to Vegas, and then they provide a shuttle service from Kingman to Vegas, basically a direct 90-minute shuttle ride. So I get off the train. As you can imagine, tired, probably getting a little funky at this point. And I don't mean in terms of dance, I mean in terms of smell. And I get on the shuttle van, which is one of those shuttle vans. I was expecting more of a bus or something a little more modern looking. It was one of those 1988, we take you from the hotel to the airport kind of shuttles, or from the Disney parking lot to the gate of Disney World kind of van shuttles.
Yeah.
So I get on and I'm the first one. And I don't see anybody coming. I go, sweet, private ride to Vegas, let's go. And the person was like, oh, no, we've got plenty of people coming. And what I realized is I don't like to fly because I'm a coward. But there were a lot of people who don't fly because they physically can't fit on airplanes. And I know that sounds mean, but trust me, I suffered the consequences on this shuttle ride. So I'm waiting there, and various people are coming on. A few skinny people, which was nice. And then all of a sudden, one guy gets on who is, I would say, 390 pounds.
Whoa.
Okay, big guy, I'd say heavy, but not short either. So I'm already wow, I thought I was going to be the heaviest person on this van. He gets on, sits down. Then a woman gets on, and when I tell you she smelled like shit, I don't mean, oh, she smelled bad. I mean, I almost gagged because I think she shit her pants.
Oh.
So she sits in front of me, and now I'm going, that's me. And then this couple gets on, and I know this sounds mean, but the only reason I mention it is because there were moments during this van ride where I feared for my life. And this couple gets on, and I'd seen them on the train before. They were definitely 1,000 pounds combined. That's not an exaggeration.
Yikes.
He was probably closing in on 580 to 600.
Wow.
And she was probably around $4 bills. And I think I saw Nick Saban trying to recruit them at the train station. That's how big they were. And they get on, and the gravitational pull of the van shifted. As they walked, you could feel the I don't know if it's the shocks. I'm not a car person, but the almost, you ever run on a treadmill and you kind of your foot catches a little on the rubber and you almost feel like you're going to trip a little bit? I guess we're all just smooth runners here. But it was like that, except this giant shuttle van did that as they walked on. So they sit down. And then we get moving. It's full ride, full house. I'm sharing a seat with somebody who is not huge. But I'm kind of huge, although at this point I'm not even on the medal stand for heaviest person in the van. I'm not even getting bronze at 310 pounds for heaviest people on this shuttle. So we then get in the middle of the night, it's pitch dark, and we're driving about 65 miles per hour, which is normal. That's a normal speed when you're in a car with normal weight. Going 65 in the dark from Arizona to Vegas at 2:15 in the morning, terrifying. Because you just feel like at any point, we're not gonna hit a car or a deer. The van is just going to give up, is what it feels like. It's just gonna quit, like a horse from heat exhaustion or something. It's just gonna go face first into the pavement. And then I had this nightmare scenario where the van crashes, the two big people land on me, suffocating me, and with my last breath, the woman who shit her pants just rolls over ass first onto my face, and that's the last breath on Earth.
Oh!
But instead, we arrived at the Vegas airport, at which point I got a lift to the Sunset Station Casino, arrived at 4 a.m., took my time, a personal spa day in my bathroom, and then went to sleep at 6 a.m. So I need to see more of Kingman, Arizona, although you guys might tell me, no, I don't. But that's all I've seen of Kingman, Arizona.
Oh no, Will, you should come out here and do a show if you don't give up the comedy career by then.
Yeah, it feels like it's giving up on me. That's the real problem.
Really?
Well, yeah, we can't give up until we come see you.
I know.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
No, but we had a great time, and the after party was fantastic. A bunch of great people. Pete's whole crew and fans are phenomenal. But
yeah, that was my first orgy, but it was all. I mean, you were being coy about it, but that was my first orgy, and it was great to just be amongst liberal, like-minded people. You know, just kidding, everybody. Everybody kept their clothes on, as far as I know.
But I do have to apologize for the Uber ride home.
Oh.
You know, and
No.
Snow made you do De Niro.
I was drunk.
Yeah.
And who doesn't love De Niro? If you know that somebody can do De Niro, you're obviously going to make him do it.
Yeah, but you bullied him into doing it. Do it.
Yeah,
Do it.
But he did a really good job.
Yeah, it used to be one I did all the time, like literally 20 years ago when I first started out, and I just don't do it anymore. There's like different impressions where I'm like, you know, the face, you know, why? He said why? It's like I don't want to, it's like I know, the problem is, it's like me in sports. I used to be good, I used to be strong, and now I don't want to play basketball anymore because my brain will try to do things that I can't do, and that's how I feel about like some impressions where I'm like, I know I used to have it. That's not a question of it, but now it's like it's so out of practice. But yeah, but you were happy enough with it, so I didn't feel bad.
Yeah, I thought it was solid.
I knew it could be better.
Yeah,
I thought it was solid.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't think you're out of practice.
So then, shortly after you went to Canada. How'd that go over?
Canada was great. It was like scouting a new country to live in. And the first visit I did was Toronto, which felt very much like to Canadians, I don't know that they love Toronto, but to somebody who was born and raised in New York City, it felt like a nicer New York. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a little less crowded, a little nicer, but to the rest of Canada, that's like, I guess, their big corporate kind of city. But I liked it a lot. And somebody was nice enough to get me a Tim Hortons gift card for my trip to Ottawa.
Yeah.
I didn't meet sympathy when I broke down how little profit I would make on my trip, and then I got a nice gift from you. And the best thing about it was that the 25 American dollars was like $38 in Canada. So I have enough for multiple days of Tim Hortons on my next trip back to Canada. And I ate there every day. It wasn't like I was like, oh, let me make this. No, the donuts are like $1.70 Canadian. That's like $1.20 or $1.10. And if you go to a Dunkin' Donuts now in the States or a Krispy Kreme, it's like it's like $2 or $3 for a donut. So that was very nice. But I loved Toronto. The show it wasn't a sellout, but it was packed. And I loved when I wrote on social media, I wrote something about like promoting my next show in Ottawa. And I said something to the effect of, oh man, it was packed in Toronto, let's pack it in Iowa. And then a well-meaning fan, I guess, was just like, yeah, let's finally get you to that sellout level. I was like, you didn't have to tell people I didn't sell out Toronto. It was packed. Yes, I only sold 93% of the tickets, but it was just such a weird way of encouraging me where I'm like, see, I'm just saying we packed the place because that's true. But I didn't say I sold out because I don't want to lie. So let's just let people imagine I sold it out. Because if there were 10 seats left, is that really a big deal? But this guy was, those honest Canadians, he had to put forth like, let's finally get him a sellout. Thanks, buddy.
Honest Canadian.
And Ottawa was another like very good, very like once again, not sold out, but very close. And they give me like the off nights in Canada. So I was very happy with that. Ottawa went very well. And I just like Canada, the limited time I've spent there was just very nice. Obviously, the show's going well helps, but I was so impressed with Montreal. I was in Montreal for part of it, and just a city I'd like to go back to. Like for a long stretch, no comedy, just to sort of see and enjoy the city without having to do any work or ticket sales.
I grew up in Vermont, about an hour and a half from Montreal, so I spent a lot of time there. And fantastic city.
Oh, very cool. Right. Yeah. And that train ride, because, I'm a train psycho, from New York to Montreal, it's just a straight shot, like a straight line through New York State up to Montreal. It's such a beautiful train ride. Montreal, it was like, that was my big regret. And that's how I know I'm sort of losing my passion for comedy. I like doing it. I like making funny things, but like, the grind of doing live shows for like this like little profit margin, I find myself going to cities and being more interested in wanting to be. It used to not be that way. It used to be like, oh, this city's okay, but I can't wait for my shows. Now it's like, yeah, I got a show tonight. I'd rather walk around the city. I'd rather walk around the city and learn about this different place than do a show at this point. So that's an unfortunate byproduct of decades in this increasingly dumb business, but listen to my podcast, everybody. It's much more cheerful than me.
Are you putting out those shows, the Toronto show, like a special?
Yeah, he's editing. I saw first draft of the Toronto show, so that'll be, I hope. I don't know. He may not have it until July, but I'd love, if I can't put it out in June, I'd love to put it out like on July 4th, and
great.
Call it Trump versus Canada. I think it would be good timing but it's like, even I have, I think, a pretty realistic assessment of my talents or skills. This is awesome, this show. It's like I did like a 20-minute kind of speech as Trump to the people of Canada, and then did about an hour of questions from the crowd. And obviously I did not know any of the questions. It's all improv and crowd work kind of stuff. But it was like a top 10 show of my life. And then Ottawa was really, really good too. But the Toronto one, and I'm really glad the guy who did the videotaping for me, I just wanted somebody to like film it. So, hey, in case there's a good clip here, I can throw it on social media. But he came with like now he charged me for it. And I just figured it was like a few days before. I was like, F it, let's just go for a full special feel, like a 3-camera shoot. Great sound, great crowd. Like he filmed it like a real special for a streaming platform, so it's going to look awesome. And it's just, I think fans of mine will really like it. And it's just one of those things. The clips, one of the clips from it got like 2.2 million views on YouTube. But I think it's the kind of thing, if somebody watches the whole special, they're really going to just be like, this was like an awesome performance. Like clips are good. You can go, wow, he sounds like him. But when you watch the like 80-minute show of me not breaking character and just riffing and talking, I'm very proud of it. Like, you try not to be too braggadocious, but I'm like, there's just no way not to be proud of the show. And then the guy did a great job filming it. So subscribe to my YouTube now and you'll know as soon as it's up. But I would guess I don't want it to come out later than July 4th. So if it's not going to come out like this week, then I would just want it to like be on July 4th until somebody tells me like, oh no, releasing on a holiday is terrible for the algorithm. And I'll go, of course it is. And it'll get 5 views.
After we saw you, you headed to Los Angeles and you said you were going to go to that magician club.
Yeah, the comedy, the Magic Castle.
Yeah.
The Magic Castle. Yeah, my friend Nick is like a top level up close magician. Like he's a card magician. He's really phenomenal, and he's a good friend. So I've told Laura, my girlfriend, about it several times, and then so she came out to meet me, and she came out to Vegas. No, what am I saying? We hung out in Vegas and then went there, and so we went there. It's like it's I can't remember if I've told you this story, but it's just funny that when I would visit my friend Nick, we met at a comedy festival 15 years ago, and we just stayed in touch. And then he moved from the Midwest to LA, so now it was like, oh, I have a friend who's like a home base in LA, because he has this very successful website that has like he's like half tech entrepreneur, like half magician comedian. And so he was always like a place I could stay when I would like do shows or podcasts out in LA. And he would always say to me like, hey, I can get you into the Magic Castle if you want to go. And I would be like, oh, I want to support. Oh, you have a magic show? Oh yeah, like you're my friend. I want to go out and support you. But I would only be there for 2 or 3 days. I'd never adjust to the time difference. So I'd be going to bed at like 8:30 at night. I'm like, I'm sorry, dude. Next time I'm out here, I'll support your magic show. It's the least I can do as a good friend. Never realizing that the Magic Castle was this like high-end exclusive social club. Like he was doing me the favor. He was like, I can get you in because the only way you can get in is be a member or have like me put you on the list. So finally I was out there for like 10 days. Like I was like, I'm finally going to go to your magic show, dude. Yay. And then I realized, I was like, oh, this is a cool thing. You've been offering me the favor, not me being like, buddy, I support my friends. And meanwhile, he gets like flown to fucking Hong Kong to do like private magic shows. And I'm like, buddy, next magic show, you'll have at least one audience member because I'm a good friend. But he never kind of explained it to me. So I just was like, oh yeah, I definitely want to, like a good friend and also a thankful guest. You want to be like, yeah, I'll absolutely like support what you do. And then it was like, oh no, you're doing me the favor. Like that would be like if I had a job on SNL. Like if I was on SNL and I said, oh, you guys, I can get you 2 tickets to SNL. And you assumed I was like a page on SNL. And it's like, he's so proud of his show. That's so cool. We should go support him on and at his job, like what he does. It means a lot to him. Then you get there and like see me on TV and go, oh shit, like this is a huge favor he's doing for us. We thought he was like, we had to help him out. Very, very stupid on my part.
Well, I mean, I go out to LA quite a bit, and I was really pissed off about what is going on out there. Not the protest, and every time something happens in LA, Lakers lose a playoff game, people go out and they loot and
right.
Toss a car around. But to call in the National Guard and the Marines on these citizens in LA just really infuriated me.
Oh no, I thought I was completely supportive of it. Yeah, I mean, it's the gift that Trump has, I think. I don't know if it's a gift, and I don't even know if it's like an intentional thing, but the average American, I think, doesn't actually care about the Constitution or federalism, the division of power between the states and the federal government, or anything like that. They like to use it as a weapon, like, oh, like you'll have people saying he's against, Joe Biden was doing so many unconstitutional things, and it's like, can you name one? It's unconstitutional has a meaning, it's not a vibe. It has, there is a constitution, and we have cases and we have parchment that like tell you what it is. And I think what Trump's specialty is I think he has a common person's ignorance of how the Constitution and the laws work. And it's kind of relatable because when he speaks, he's not the guy at the bar who like doesn't quite know what he's talking about. He's the president. So you're taking a guy who kind of goes, they're rioting in LA. I'm watching Fox News right now. They're rioting. If I could do something about it, I'd send the cops in. I'd send the troops in to stop that. And he recognizes that he has a perfect boogeyman in LA because, California, it's like some socialist, hippie, liberal utopia that we hate. So you can do whatever you want to California if you're a Republican president, and your base will love it. They see a car on fire or a store getting looted, and they go, it's anarchy. It's complete anarchy. And it makes total sense to send in the National Guard. I don't need to worry about how that's actually supposed to work or how it just feels right. Like what Trump is doing feels right. And he's almost kind of, his ignorance is kind of like a gift. because it's relatable to probably the majority of Americans who don't really know how things are supposed to work. Plus, he's the president, which then makes that kind of average person's mindset look correct, because it's the president who agrees with me. So why would I doubt that? I think they should go into California too. I know I'm just a guy sitting at a bar talking with his friends, but the president is saying what I think. Mm-hmm. So, like, I'm probably right. And I just think people, we've lost the way of caring about things beyond our sort of immediate need and gut instinct. I think people go, yeah, they should send troops in. Fuck California. Go. And it's like, that's not how it's supposed to work. That's not how it works. But, I think that's when a population no longer knows how their government works, a charismatic person can make them think it works how they think it works.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Bring civics back.
Yeah.
Yeah, really. I mean, for real. Like, I think, and he wouldn't do this in a Republican state. You know what I mean? He wouldn't do this if Dallas were having some problems, they wouldn't do anything. If Tampa were having problems. Now you could say, like, oh, the Republican governors would be tougher. But would they? Gavin Newsom had it pretty much under control.
Yeah.
And you would just see selective footage. Instead, Fox and Newsmax would run clips of, like, police arresting one person and showing, like, look at how dominant the Republican governors are. They don't need federal help because, look, here's one clip of cops grabbing one guy. So, therefore, we know they've got it under control.
Yeah.
Well, the fact that they're even calling them riots, it's not...
Yeah. No,
they're not riots. Yeah,
right.
they're
Just
protests. It's crazy.
Right, and it's like, a riot, there have been riots. Like, that's the thing. Not now. I'm saying when you see a police station burning up in Minnesota, you can call that a riot.
Yeah. Or the LA riots after the Rodney King verdict. Right. Yeah, that was a riot. But
right, but they can now kind of just select footage and clips and transmit it through social media at lightning speed, so that, two people jumping on a cop car and one guy stealing a TV will be all you see on a loop, so that you go, LA or California is in complete chaos.
Yeah.
The other thing, it's Pride Month. One thing that we do on the podcast here is we support that community a lot. We have a lot of friends, family members. And you did something on YouTube the other day about transgender people in sports and stuff like that. And I thought that was brilliant, how you worded it.
Yeah.
I did too. Thank you. I also thought it was brilliant. Well, my big issue is, and like I said, if this were limited to sports, I think most people can have a reasonable discussion and good people can disagree on what they think is the solution. Because I don't think it's as easy as let them all play or don't let any of them play. But I understand if people say, for the sake of competition and fairness, I don't think this person who transitioned at 16 or 18 who has a bigger frame and a little more strength, I don't think it's fair. Whether you agree with that or not, that's not an unreasonable or hateful position. What I think has happened, and the MAGA movement, et cetera, has proven by their actions, that was a Trojan horse. That was, we're going to, first they start talking about, it's about the kids. They're transitioning your 8-year-old in school and not telling the parents. What? Who's doing that? That's conflating, like, a school district that maybe says you don't have to tell your parents. Not, once again, an issue I would probably disagree with, but that if a kid doesn't feel safe or welcome at home and tells the teacher, I would like to be known as a she instead of a he. Some liberal states don't require the school to tell the parents. I think that's probably wrong. But I understand it's an effort to protect, but the balance of keeping parents informed of humongous things, I think, has to tip in the direction of the parent, unless there is a way you can sort of show, no, I'm being threatened with violence or harm at my home. That's
Yeah.
different. Because that would be a safety issue for the kid. But if it's just, I would like to be known as Jimmy now instead of Joanna, and I don't want you to tell my parents because I don't know if they'll like it. No, you got to tell the parent. Like, I think you got to tell the parents. Like, but it wouldn't matter. Whatever nuance I'm offering you right now does not matter to Donald Trump. When somebody will go, you go to school a boy, you come home a girl, and they don't tell anybody. Well, how dumb and or hateful do you have to be to believe that that's what's happening? So it starts with we have to protect the kids. Then it starts we have to make sports fair. Then it goes to we're kicking trans troops out of the military, even though nobody in the military is asking them to be left, and some of them are decorated officers and combatants, where it's like, well, who's that protecting? Our nation's soldiers who are protecting us now, you're kicking them out because they're trans, even though they've been serving and have medals and accomplishments. Okay, so it just keeps going. And then you have Trump, no longer providing kind of specialized care with the suicide hotline for LGBTQ individuals, even though that's a community with maybe a higher rate of suicide. So maybe you want specialized people to talk to that community or have more people on hand to relate to that community. Who's that protecting? Who are you protecting by what? Encouraging more suicides? That's protection. So it all starts with this one thing of like trans sports. And you see the agenda is to just attack and degrade and harm that community. And, it's kind of plain to see as far as I'm concerned. And as I said in the video, just to sum it up for people, basically, I can be on your side or I can hear you out or I can agree with you on the sports issue. But when I see that one side is using the sports issue as an entryway into destroying a community, fuck your sports. Like I'll choose sports over sports. I'm not going to choose your sports issue if you're going to use that issue to harm people. Like, if you're making me choose, like, I don't think I should have to choose. I should be able to have a reasonable discussion about sports and gender without fearing that you're going to take that issue and then run and degrade and harm the entire community on dozens of issues. But that seems to be what they're doing. And if you want it to be an either or choice, I would say, okay, then I don't really care about high school swimming. if it's going to be used as a wedge to hurt people. But of course, if you're a swimmer, I can talk to you about swimming and track. If it stops there, if you can acknowledge and respect the humanity and existence of these people, then we can talk about sports. But clearly, a large segment of that voter base, and I don't think this is exclusive to MAGA, I think there are plenty of people throughout politics that don't think that community is worth respect and dignity. And so if you're not, you got to meet me there. And once I know that there's respect and dignity there, then we can talk about sports and fairness and things like that. And it can be a completely respectful discussion, whether we agree or disagree. So
yeah.
I don't know what the big deal is anyways. These kids aren't on a professional level. Just let them play the sports. I don't really get what the big deal is in the first place.
I think it's probably partly, I shouldn't say, I think some of it is obviously college swimming. You're competing at maybe the highest level, trying to win a championship. I get why it's a deal, maybe not a big deal. And at the high school level, I'm sure it has to do with college scholarship. Maybe if you're at that level, if you're at the level where it's like, if I'm a champion, I can get, a free ride to college or something. So I don't want to just dismiss.
Well, I get that then, I guess. I'm looking at, I guess, like the little guys. Like when I was in grade school, one of the boys, he is gay, and we always knew that he was like. You didn't really use the term gay though, like in third grade or whatnot. So you just knew that he was different. But I was always kind of like, he should be playing with the girls because the boys are mean to him. They beat him up. Like, I was like, what? He should be able to come play with us so he's not getting roughed up out there.
Right.
Yeah.
And I remember in high school, there was a girl a couple years older than me that wrestled. And she was a feminine, like, she wasn't like some super jacked up, like, she just wanted to wrestle and there was no girls wrestling team.
Right.
And she was allowed to wrestle.
Yeah.
And
nobody
had, I mean, she was a girl. There was no, like, she wasn't a trans boy. But it was just like, of course it was a curiosity. It was like, oh, the girl's wrestling. Imagine you lose to the girl in wrestling. I think that's a perfectly natural thing for high school boys to say. But it also was not you may not wrestle. It was like, okay, well, we don't have a girls wrestling team and you're allowed to compete if you make the team.
Yeah, so she gets to wrestle. Yeah.
And nobody, there was no issue really about it other than like a curiosity. So I think it's still rooted in confusion at best and bigotry at worst, or hate at worst.
Well, and also they say a big reason why Harris won was people were too sick of the wokeness, where I didn't think the transgender issue was a huge deal at any part of her agenda at all.
Oh, not her part. It was a huge part of Republican ads.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Which was such a funny thing. It was like, and that's why I sometimes go, don't run away. Like, I don't think you have to do anything different on messaging on that issue, other than maybe say, we've got your back and we're not going to let sports be in, and then people will say, oh, you can't call half the country bigots. And my answer to that is, why?
I know. Yes, you can.
Why can't I if they are? Donald Trump will get on a mic and call generals stupid. He'll call Democrats animals who hate America.
He'll call reporters retarded.
When you go, Trump voters are either dumb or bigots. You're done. You're done. For some reason, I'm done. But Donald Trump, as president, will go, Democrats, I think they hate our country. I think they want us to die. And people will go, yeah, oh, very tough talk from President Trump. I'm like, why are we not allowed as Democrats to be equally offended and shoot back at them? Metaphorically, obviously.
Yeah. Well, even when we do, because our favorite, Jasmine Crockett, whenever she says something, and she hits back like how they hit at her, and then then the Democrats give her shit for talking like that.
And I think we just need somebody who's so skilled at jokes and witty talking and politics, who can just rise above it and deliver a sort of, imagine if somebody had the racial background.
Like that.
Imagine if somebody had kind of an Obama-like background,
right,
but was in comedy for a long time. I don't know who that is. I'm moving on.
Who could this person be? Yeah.
Trevor Noah, everybody. That's who I'm talking about.
Yeah, but how far would he go? Because wasn't he born in Africa?
Well, he can't become president.
Okay.
And I don't even know if he's a citizen. I would guess that he's a citizen.
Well,
he's South African.
Well, Elon almost became president, though.
Well, he was like behind the scenes president for a while, till they broke up. Oh,
it's sad. It's but what are you gonna do? Just two alpha male bros. Just
they'll never make it together.
Well, I don't know. Maybe we can put our heads together and we can think of somebody possibly someday might be able to run.
Somebody out there.
But I do like Jasmine Crockett is a good example where I go, I also think there is an element to, and I hate to say this, but she's a black woman. And there will be, for a lot of people, this like, oh, she's extra aggressive. She's extra snarky or nasty. And
I like all that.
Oh, no, I'm saying to people who go, hey, and I go, the standard, is Donald Trump now. I mean, he's not the standard we should meet, but he is the president, and he is debasing the country and that office like we've never seen. So this idea of talking now I like somebody like Pete Buttigieg. I think he's an example of somebody who's plain spoken, sharp, who doesn't resort to necessarily insults and things. But I think it needs to be an all of the above approach. And until somebody can honestly talk to the country in a way that says, you want plain spoken? You want somebody to talk like you talk? Then stop holding Democrats to some lofty heavenly standard. Let us get, let us get down and dirty once in a while. Don't hold us to some holy saint-like standard, and Donald Trump gets to, just throw mud at us all day and be tough because there's no standards on him. Look at what he's done. Nothing except bad. Look at how he conducts himself. Horribly. In other words, you can have one or the other, let's say. You want a dignified leader, okay, who maybe isn't as active, or you want somebody who's rough but gets it done. He's neither. He's a lazy sack of shit who's rude and crude and disgusting, and you're not getting the other than vibes, you're not getting the payoff from, hey, I don't like how he talks, but he gets stuff done. But he doesn't get stuff done.
Yeah, like what is he getting done for, like, the average person? Nothing.
Right, and I would say if you enjoy him making Democrats unhappy, if that's your agenda, then I don't need to communicate with you anyway, because you're not a serious person. You don't actually have needs that I can meet. You just want Trump to be mean and be like your junkyard dog attacking people. I don't have to talk to you. I don't have to address your needs or issues. But if you're here for issues, if you're here that you want solutions and you want maybe somebody to speak plainly to you and not bullshit, that can be done. But if your whole agenda is, I don't like Democrats, then what do you want? Don't get out of my face. Go vote for Trump for a 10th time. I don't give a shit. I need to talk to the people who can be reached. And if you're a Trump voter and you just like the vibes of Trump, you're not a serious person.
Yeah, that's like the 30% or whatever he's never going to lose them. The 30% of his base or whatever. Anytime you hear one of those surveys, like, in his favorability, it always seems to be in the 30% range.
I got a TikTok the other day, and I'll admit, I watched one of her TikToks because she had a lot of cleavage in the first video. And I resent that from TikTok because, of course, I'm going to pause. If the video is huge breasts, like, in my face, I'm not just going to, I'm going to, like, pause. It's like human instinct. It's like male instinct. I'm like, huh? And then TikTok goes, well, he must love this then. And I'm like, well, I mean, I don't hate it, but not the way you think. Not you think of like, oh, he loves this content. No, if you showed me car crashes on TikTok, I'd stop.
Right.
I'd go, what the? And then they'd be like, this guy loves car crashes. We just got to flood his feed with car crashes. I'm like, no, that's human instinct. That's not like me engaging and going, she's making some good points. So I watched one. And it was in response to some guy complaining about her having nothing but big breasts to offer. Okay. Maybe true, maybe not. But her next video was her, and I found this very interesting. I did watch this one, and she said, y'all, we're going through some things right now. And I didn't know what she was talking about. Her marriage, her relationship, her car, I don't know. And she goes, but when you see the world going upside down, I'm going to ride with the man who took a bullet for us and kept fighting. Okay? I'm going to pray on it. I'm going to back Trump. But I loved it, and I'll tell you why. I said, some of these tools are getting a little nervous. Like, they're starting to be like, they're no longer able, some of them, to go, he's kicking ass. They're reverting to kind of like faith. They're like, I just got to have faith in my Lord Donald Trump. He will provide. And I'm like, he won't. And I can't wait to see your videos as he continues to fuck things up. But it was one of those moments where I was like, oh, now she's being all nice and Southern and big boobed about it, but she seems nervous. Do you get what you get? What, like, you're trying to read between the lines, where it wasn't like y'all, Trump has this, okay, y'all, no need to worry. Democrats are the ones who are afraid. Her thing was kind of like, things are crazy right now, but Trump did get shot. Like when they have the lean on Trump got shot, they're starting to have like doubt, like doubt in their faith in Trump is starting to creep in. And I'm trying to get them to Donald Trump atheism at some point.
Well, speaking of TikTok, I mean, the videos I put up of snow always get the most views, and you kind of probably explained why that happens. There's something about snow's videos.
What?
How demeaning! I don't agree. Snow. I see you as a person, as a
Thank you.
An individual. I don't. Some people say I don't see color. I don't see breasts.
We had Brent Terhune on shortly after you, and right after that, he put out one of his.
You're bringing him up again. I see.
Well,
I see you're bringing him up again.
But this goes to that point.
You notice I didn't do it.
This goes to that point. He does
just
one of
for
his
the listeners. Me and Brent are fun. We are cool. I'm just making a joke about a rival 2020 comedic influencer.
Right.
But he's sitting in his car. He goes off on one of his rants as the angry guy, and he's talking about breasts. And I'm like going, what put that?
Double D.
Yeah.
And he did a lot of crying in that episode.
Yeah. So, yeah.
And I told him how much I like when he makes the alpha male cry.
Well, you know what? Sometimes alpha males have tears too. Very strong tears.
Hey, before we let you go, can you do Mitch McConnell?
You're lucky I have props. They're trying to put my mouth away. Can you hear her? I've always been a big fan of Kingman, Arizona. Lovely place, full of lovely people. And it's close to Las Vegas, where I like to gamble. And people don't know this about me, but I'm a bit of a pussy hound. When I'm in Las Vegas, they get me 2 strippers at a time because, I get down like that. Very happy to be on the show. And soon I'll have to retire from the Senate. And then I can just freeze forever until I get to hell and Satan melts my frozen face for all the horrible things that I've done.
All right. Fucking Mitch McConnell on the show, too.
I'm like crying.
That's a big get for you guys. McConnell is a big get for the show.
Oh my God.
Well, JL, thank you.
That was so funny.
Thank you.
We'll have you on again. I will fix the technical issues the next time.
Don't I have to agree? Isn't my consent part of that?
Oh,
Threatening
sure.
me to bring me back on the show? Jeez.
Oh, yeah.
My voice, my choice. That's what I say.
Have you been practicing the Louis C.K.?
No.
He's not gonna go there.
You just have to watch the classic video over and over again.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
One day.
Okay.
Okay, well.
But that was one that wasn't really in my wheelhouse. That was more of like I treated that almost like an acting job where I like worked on it.
Yeah.
Like the Trump and some of these other ones, I just kind of have them and they just get better. But Louis C.K. was more like, I'm going to I worked on that to like get it to that point. And then it just wasn't one that I could use as frequently. So that's why if I like worked on it, I could get back there. But there's always just too much going on with the clowns that we have where I don't set aside the time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
No, I mean...
One birthday, I'll just show up in Kingman dressed as Louis C.K.
That would be hilarious.
All right, there, Jay. I will let you go. I know you're a busy guy, and
That's right.
you know.
So busy. Don't look at my calendar on my website. It will make you think I am not busy at all.
Well, I mean, you put time into these videos every day.
Are you going to be doing shows like in the September area? Like the month of September, are you?
I'm trying to get shows. I've got a couple things in August, and I don't know what I'll be doing in September. I know they want to have me back in Canada, and like some of the clubs I've done for a while, I'm just not getting responses from. So I keep trying. I'm always, to my financial detriment, I'm always game to do shows. But some months I get a lot of email replies, and sometimes I get nothing. So it's just a crapshoot, unfortunately.
Yeah, because I might be in Jersey in September time.
Oh,
yeah.
All right. Well, I'll keep that in mind. Very cool.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, thank you.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
And you know, maybe someday, if you ever have political aspirations, we certainly would support you in whatever you do.
Well, I appreciate that. But right now, I'm making sure we keep having a Democratic governor in the state of New Jersey. Because this old Sebastian Maniscalco type, Jack Ciattarelli, he thinks third time is the charm for him, and he's very MAGA. He's one of these guys who wasn't MAGA and is now like, he sees the writing on the wall, and now he's just like, yeah, Donald Trump has done nothing. Like, I wouldn't change a thing. Donald Trump is great, blah, blah, blah. Because the Jersey Republicans might as well be Mississippi Republicans. You know what I mean? So it's like, even though the state is like 60-40, the 40 is like hardcore, and Ciattarelli only lost by like 4 percentage points last election, which was very close for New Jersey. So we'll see. But it would be I think it would just be so embarrassing for us to have. But we are running a woman, and I don't say that, you know, I think what we've learned from national politics. Now, Jersey has had a female governor before, Christine Todd Whitman. She was a Republican, so the state has done it. But, you know, Clinton and Harris showed us that there is an extra, you need an extra like 5 percentage points if you're a woman in this country, it seems. So, but Mikey Sherrill, I think she's like a Navy pilot, and she was a congresswoman. So it's like she's, you know, but Ciattarelli is like a handsome, silver-haired Jersey Italian guy. So I think there's going to be like a kind of, you know, ooh, I like him. He reminds me of my uncle, you know, kind of shit. So
don't a lot of people in Jersey though like Mikey Sherrill?
Oh, sure, but it's like, but that's what I'm saying. It's like, and I think she's going to win.
Oh,
like,
okay.
I don't, but it's also, we are in a weird political time. You know what I mean? And it would be the third straight term for a Democrat, which hasn't happened in New Jersey since like 1960 something.
Oh.
You know, just like Al Gore lost after two terms of Clinton, even though the economy was good, because something in our country, we just kind of go, things are good, but we should change it. There's like this instinct that we have to keep changing. So it's like, too Democrat, but it's time to get a Republican in there now. And it's like, why? I don't know. Why? Can you explain other than just...
Let's see what will happen. It's kind of like that. Let's see what happens when we do that.
But I think with Trump doing what he does, that will help Cheryl. I think it will help her because, you know, when Phil Murphy won, but in a very close election 4 years ago, it was... Biden's approval was starting to dip. So there was like a drag on, and it was a Democrat in office. So there was kind of like a referendum on the incumbent kind of vibe. But with Trump in office, I think, and Ciattarelli, like knowing that he can't alienate MAGA or else half of his people will stay home. I think I think it should be a cakewalk. I don't know that it will be, but you know, it should be a pro MAGA Republican running against like a military veteran congresswoman, like who was a U.S. attorney. Like her resume is like A+. So, But it's one of those things. It's like, so was Hillary Clinton's.
Right.
Yeah.
You know
True.
what I mean? And Donald Trump has a 0.0 GPA on the ethical, intellectual character report card. So, and he's the president. So can't take anything for granted. So I think I'm going to go to a Mikey Sherrill fundraiser event July 1st.
Oh, cool.
Just let everybody see the big man with the big dollars, with the big Mikey Sherrill dollars. I hope so. All I want is to walk in there and have at least a few people go, "I love your videos." And I'll go, "This was money well spent," for compliments.
Yes.
I love meeting strangers who compliment me.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Mikey Sherrill. I'm talking to fans over here. I'll talk to you in a second. No, not at all. Not at all will I do that. So, yeah, hopefully she wins. It's crazy to think that it's like less than 5 months. No. Yeah, it's less than 5 months away. Ugh. Time flies when you're watching democracy get destroyed.
Right?
I don't know. I think it's dragging. Since January, every day is just.
I think
torture.
it's been moving. It's almost July already. It's been moving by quick.
It is July. That June feels late, but Trump is because he is a never-ending when I read the paper, it's just stunning to see every day. Like, it used to be like, hey, there's like the front page and then maybe one or two articles inside that are really big. But like, I'm getting to like page 19 of the New York Times, and it's like, and he just cut this funding, and this will lead to like dress. And you're like, wow,
Right.
he is doing all these big things, not little things. There's too many big things to report. And but I think we need to find a way, and that's going to be kind of my summer project is making like a civics video series, if I can get funding for it, where I just kind of explain the basics, a little bit of history, a little bit about how government works, with the lesson being, you may not like Democrats because they're annoying sometimes, but you look at history, they're the ones who get the things done. The things that you like that you have right now, almost without...
Brought to you by Democrats.
A Democrat gave it to you at some point. And the every big thing we've ever had, if there's a big thing that you want, a Democratic president with a lot of Democrats in Congress has been the formula for about 100 years.
Right?
It's not that hard. So you can dislike Democrats personality-wise or not find them to be relatable like you are. But you know what? Just like when you have a business, we're the business owners. This is kind of a good talking point. I'm sorry to keep you. Now I'm on a roll. But we're the business owners. Like, people say we need a business owner to run the government. We're the business owner. I got to remember this. We own the business. We're hiring the manager of the business. Mm-hmm. Donald Trump was the worst manager to hire. Hillary Clinton, you don't like her, but her resume said, "We'll do a great job at managing the business." We're the business owner, and we hired a terrible manager. We don't need a business owner to run the government. Like, I get that having a business sense is useful, but we have it sort of backwards. We're the owner. Who do we want to manage this is really the question. Exactly. And we need to phrase it like that. We need to look at it that way and take ownership of our responsibility in running the country. We hire who runs the country. They don't hire us. And we kind of act like it's the other way around. Like, Donald Trump was a boss on TV. I'd like him to run my business. And I'm like, no. Mm-mm. But, I don't know how to get that message through at this point. They think he's like a holy man at this point.
Right?
Yeah, that's a great point.
I think that we're the business owners. That's a good message.
Thank you. Well, I'm going to pass it on to Mikey Sherrill.
There you go. Yeah.
Do it.
He has to be our next governor.
You could be her speechwriter.
She probably has better speech. Like, I feel like I would do too much of me in a speech. She'd be like, okay, and now I'm supposed to talk like this. Nasty guy. He's a nasty guy, Donald Trump. Why is Mikey Sherrill doing impressions? I thought she was a serious person. Uh-oh. Did I just lose the race for Mikey Sherrill with my terrible speeches? All right.
Funny.
This has been a pleasure, you guys.
Well, thank you. And,
Yeah, it's always good to have you on.
And maybe Snow will see you in September.
Yeah, I hope I get to come to a
I'll
show.
let you know. If I have stuff going on out here, we'll let you know. And then I don't know when my next trip. I try to make like one West Coast trip a year, roughly. So I always want to include. It's like L.A., Vegas, Utah. That's my trip. So I don't know when that will be coming up, but obviously you'll be informed of that.
All right.
Cool.
We will see you then. All right.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Thank you. Bye, Jacob. All right.
What?